going to spin this. Whoever it points to will get the first 3 cards. Right? Take out any card that you want. Just look at them all, and the first one pops in your head. Just put it face up. 1665, does that number mean anything to any of you guys? No? Now, usually about every week I play the lottery, and every single week I play the same numbers. It's King of Spades, right? 9, 8, 10. Look at the first 3 numbers of the serial number, right?
Okay.
What's the number that you're thinking of right now? 123, yeah? From the very beginning, I had you write a number on the back. You wrote 22.
Yeah.
Right? It was on the Jack of Spades. You shuffled the deck, right? For a long time.
Yes.
You shuffled it. You dealt 22 cards from hand. We stopped on this card.
Right.
Watch. 22nd card. Jack of Spades. And obviously these are all different. I want you to just sort of send all of your energy into that finger, right?
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just gonna try and figure out which one it is, right? That's it. This one? It is your middle finger, right? Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Good deal. All right. Let's see. Okay. Anytime you want, just drop as many as you want. All right, good. So you're dropping 3 fingers, right? Check this out. Good deal. Thank you, and you can 3 fingers. Hi guys, my name is Matt Mello and this is Modern Mentalism. On these DVDs you're going to be learning effects straight from my professional performing routines. These are things that I performed close up throughout various restaurants and bars throughout Rhode Island, and all of them have been tried and tested and get amazing reactions.
The thing that I really like about this set is that it contains a lot of stuff that isn't really out there available for mentalists or available for magicians that want to add a few mental effects to their routines.
These are things that most of the time you'll be able to perform straight up, right off the fly, little to minimum setup. They're designed for close-up mentalism, which is sort of a venue that hasn't really been touched upon too much.
They're not really sleight heavy. They're very easy to learn. They're super easy to perform. You can focus on your presentation. The reactions that you get with a close-up mentalism piece, because it's so intimate, they're huge and they're long-lasting.
Hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right. The only thing I ask when you take it out, just make sure I can't see the face of it, all right?
Okay.
All right, cool. And let's just fold it in half.
Okay.
All right, good. All right, and actually one more thing real quick. Just before I go any further, right, I'll look away. Just, can you remember the letter inside of the circle on this side?
Yes.
Yeah? All right, cool. Close it up. Put your hold on to it just like this, all right? Now, do you know what that symbol is, by any chance?
A pyramid? I don't know what
Right,
it
it's actually the all-seeing eye, right? It's
Okay.
that thing right there, the
Yeah.
little thing at the top. All-seeing eye. It's a sort of a symbol for psychics, specifically sort of remote viewers. Do you know what a remote viewing is? No, it's sort of being able to see something that's happening like thousands of miles away.
you're
It's sort of
not
like,
located.
right.
Okay.
It's like watching live television, sort of. You know, you're seeing something that's happened, but you're not there.
Okay.
So we're gonna try this. Originally, this was developed for like military to be able to sort of read pieces of information from, you know, pieces of paper thousands of miles away. So what I want you to do is we're gonna try that now. You're gonna open it up. I'll look away again while you're opening it.
Okay.
All right. And I want you to just look at the serial number. All right. And just look at the first 3 numbers of the serial number. All right.
Okay.
Okay, and I want you to just make it into like the whole number. So if it was like 329, you'd make 329, all right?
Okay.
So you got that? And close the bill up so I can't, again, see anything. Good? All right, now we're gonna try this. All right? I want you to just concentrate on that number. Just focus on it in your head right now, all right?
Okay.
I want you to sort of see it as if it was written in my hands, all right?
Okay.
Just see it, just concentrate on it.
Yeah.
All right, first number, it's a low number, right? The first one, yeah?
Huh?
It's a 1, right?
Yeah.
1, nice, all right, good, 1. 2 left. Just think of it now, it would be 100 and something, right? Just think of what that number is, 100 and, just think about it, good, all right, perfect. All right, focus on the last number right now. Got the last number in your head, yeah? All right, and just sort of repeat that letter over and over in your mind, that number. So keep going just to this tempo. So if it was like a 5, you think 5. 5. Good. All right, so it's not a 5 because you would have reacted to that. Good. Gonna be. All right. First time. What's the number that you're thinking of right now? 123. Yeah.
He's got the all-seeing eye, man.
Nice.
He knows.
123. So this is the explanation for cereal. And this effect is basically just my take on a serial number divination. You're only revealing a piece of it, but it's just as strong as if you were to really do the whole thing. What you're gonna do is you're gonna have a spectator remove a dollar bill from their wallet, fold it in half, and place it just have them place it onto the table. Make sure that you instruct them to fold the face inward beforehand. Right? So the bill goes down. Now from here, you're gonna have to touch the bill because you're gonna have to peek the information that you're gonna be revealing in a little bit, which is the first 2 numbers of the serial number. So you're gonna pick up the bill, and you're gonna say, just so I can't switch it or anything, I want you to memorize this letter, right? And this is just so that you apparently can't switch the bill. While they're memorizing that letter, you're gonna be doing sort of a book test style peek, and you're gonna be peeking across the bill to the first 2 numbers here. So on this bill, it's 68, and you can easily see that, while the person will be looking from this direction and seeing the letter. So they get the letter D, you're seeing 68. After they say, yep, got it, you close the bill and then put it down. When you put it down, you want to make sure that this pyramid with the eye at the top is facing upwards, all right? So that goes down, that's there. Now you're gonna say, does anybody know what this symbol is? If they do, then great, let them explain it. If not, then you're gonna say, this is the all-seeing eye. This is apparently sort of a symbol for psychics and especially remote viewers. This isn't something that is actually true, but it doesn't really matter. So you have them, you explain, the all-seeing eye is for remote viewers. Does anybody know what remote viewing is? Most of the time people won't know. If they do, again, just let them explain it. But usually I like to use sort of the analogy of it's almost as if you were watching live television. You're thousands of miles away from the scene that you're seeing, but you know exactly what's happening. But with remote viewing, it happens more in your mind than through cameras and televisions. So after you've explained that and you've had a little bit of a time lapse between you touching the bill and putting it back down, hopefully they will have forgotten that you ever touched it. You'll tell them to pick it up. You say, I want you to open it up, and you're gonna read a piece of information off of this bill. And you'll have them say, the first 2 letters or the first 2 numbers on the serial number, just remember them, right? And then the bill gets closed, put back down. Now you'll explain originally how this was developed by the military to apparently get pieces of information from just a piece of paper, which is what I'm gonna try and do now. And then you'll go into revealing the number 68 however you want. You could either write it in your hand, which is what I usually prefer. It's just to take a marker and just write it down. You could alternatively write it on a napkin, piece of paper, or you could just name it outright, and all of that'll work. So whatever you decide, hopefully you guys will enjoy it and get a lot of use out of it. Coffee melt. This is one of the first tricks that I ever really thought about creating. It was originally going to be done with plastic silverware, so I wanted to just sort of hold a plastic spoon and make it bend. And I had the idea of how it was going to be done, but when I actually applied it and tried to do it, it didn't really work out that well because the plastic was too tough. So I ended up going to a couple different coffee places and ended up finding this coffee stir at Dunkin' Donuts, which worked out perfectly. It's sort of the 2-straw version. And what you're gonna do for this effect, all you need is coffee stir and a lighter. You're gonna hold the straw out, take the lighter, and just hold it about 2/3 of the way down and just hold it there until it starts to melt, and then just bend it down. All right. You want about a 90-degree angle for this one. And then once it gets hard, it'll be stuck in that position. So basically what you've done with this is you've rearranged sort of the anatomy of this thing to the point where when you bend it down and let it go, it'll bend back into its original or its new position. So for the finger positioning on this, what you're going to want to do is take your first finger and put it actually on the spot that you've melted, and your thumb will go right underneath it. So you've got this sort of check mark thing going on right now. All right, usually I'll have the long side on the left and the shorter side on the right. From here, you're going to take your middle finger and you're going to push it on the right side and just sort of bend it straight. All right. So now you have this illusion of a straight straw when it's actually bent. Now for this routine, usually I'll use 2 straws. I'll have this one in my right pocket, this one in my left pocket. Bring them both out, show them both. They look the same. I'll hand the non-gimmicked one out to someone to check. They'll look at it. It's obviously normal. Then I'll have them follow along with me. Usually I'll hold it out straight and just tell them to concentrate on it. Just sort of try and make it bend. And all you're going to do here is as your hand is coming under, you're just going to release pressure on your first finger. That'll cause it to just slowly bend upwards just like that. And it just depends on how hard you squeeze. If you squeeze, slowly release it, it's gonna come up slowly. If you release it quicker, it's gonna come up quicker. Usually you'll wanna go with a slow bend, so it's more dramatic looking, but at the end it's very simple, done. So that's pretty much it. Take a lighter, hold it underneath, burn it. When it gets to a melted point, you bend it down to 90 degrees. You're then going to take your first finger, put it right on the actual bend. Middle finger comes along, bends that side down. Whenever you want it to bend, all you got to do is just release pressure on your first finger, and it'll slowly bend upwards, just like that. Okay, a few hours, not bad. Recently I read an article about a code cracker who can apparently memorize a string of 50 numbers and letters in less than a minute. Pretty impressive, right? He apparently got this ability after staring at lines of codes for hours every single day. And that sort of made me want to try and do something similar. I figure if I work with a deck of cards all the time, I should be able to do something like that, right?
Possibly.
So we'll try this. Take out the Joker. Can you shuffle? Just give it a mix. Just shuffle up. Just whenever you're done, just put it up.
On top?
No, just on the side. All right. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, I want you to just touch a pile. The pile that you touch is the one that we're gonna use, so anyone that you want. Good? All right, I want you to take it, hold on to it. That card's gonna be, or that deck is gonna be sort of like a timer, all right? You're gonna deal the cards onto the table, and by the time you've hit the last card, I'll hopefully have this deck memorized, all right?
Okay.
So we'll spread these out, and just let me spread them out first before we start. And go. All right. Good. All right. Put these off to the side. Put these off there. What I want you to do is you're going to take the pile. All right, just pick it up. And I'm just going to try and hopefully see how many of these I can get. The first one should be a joker, or a jack, sorry. Right? Yeah. Next should be a 10. Then a king. Then a 3. 9. Next one was king of spades, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
9. 8. 10. 8. It's another 9 or a 6, I think. So again, 6, right? 2. Next one was an ace.
Yeah.
9, ace. 2, 4, 6, 6. Ace of spades, right?
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
10. 10.
Yeah.
And 4.
Oh, no shit.
This is photographic. About a year ago, I released an effect called Graphic, which essentially changed a box of cards into a crib sheet. But since the release of that, the card box has sort of changed and you have this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through a different way of performing that same effect using the Joker as a crib sheet now. So what you're going to do is you're going to be converting every single, well not every single, but most of the things on this, you're going to be changing them into a numerical value or just a letter value, all right? So over here we have the card that is in a stacked order based on this crib sheet. The first one is the J in the Joker, in which case you would bring out the J for the Jack. The next one is the O, which is going to stand for 10. And K is for the King. And these cards, they don't really matter what they are. You can just take out any King, 10, Jack that you want, because what you're doing isn't really essentially a memorized deck routine. You're talking about code crackers and all that sort of thing, and how this is just a line of code, so it just makes sense that you'll just say Jack, 10, King, yada yada, and go through it. There are a few on here that will be specific. For instance, this guy is going to be the King of Spades, and if you look at your own Joker, you'll see that it has, you know, the King on the bicycle, and he has the spades on his shoulder pad things. And then there's also the Ace of Spades, which is mentioned in the text in the bottom. And those will be the two cards that you'll need to sort of set aside, so you wouldn't want to use a King of Spades in the front, all right? So any king other than the King of Spades and any ace other than the Ace of Spades throughout this, all right? So next one would be, after the King, you're gonna go with the E. In my head, my mnemonic for E is, it looks like a backwards 3, so E is gonna be a 3. The next one is an R. The mnemonic for that is going to be, if you think of like an old sort of radio, you go niner. And so just 9R, the next one will be a 9. This is now going to be where the King of Spades comes into place. So you're finished with Joker, now you're going to go down to the King, King of Spades comes out. So now the next thing that you're going to be doing is, after you've named the King of Spades, is you'll be going to the little R on the, you'll notice there's a little R inside of a circle. It'll be right towards the back wheel and right above the 808, okay? And once again, R, you'll be thinking CB radio, 9er, 9. Next thing you'll be using is the 808, and that is obviously just take an 8, and then you have the O again, or well, the 0. So again, a 10, then another 8. Next thing is you'll be using guarantee. Guarantee, the G looks like a 6. So you'll use a 6 for that. The U, I just think of the band, again, the mnemonic U2, and so that'll be a 2. Next one is an A. A is an ace. Again, you want to use an ace that's not the Ace of Spades for this part. Next one, you have another R, so again, 9er. 9 goes down, another A, another ace, once again, not an Ace of Spades. Next one is an N. This one is a little bit tricky, but if you look at it too, you can see that when it's turned sideways, it sort of looks like an N. So that's just my mnemonic for that. Even though it's not written that way, just remember N2. That one goes down. Next one is the T. I use a 4 for that just because it sort of looks like the way that you could write a T. The next one is, you have 2 E's, right? And those are gonna be 6s this time. Up here it was a 3 because it looked sort of like a 3. Down here, they're the lowercase e's, which just look like upside down 6s. So once again, you have 6, you have the other E, and another 6 goes down. Once you're done with guarantee, you're gonna jump down to the Ace of Spades. Right, so the Ace of Spades is down there. That's another specific card that you get to use. After the Ace of Spades, you're gonna go down to the numbers again, and you'll see 300 gap way. You're just gonna be using 300 from that, in which case you'll get the 3. You have the 2-0, so another 10, another 10. And the last thing that you'll do is, at the very bottom, after Kentucky, you'll see there's 41018. All these numbers are the same on every single Joker. So I just used the first one, the 4, and you're out of 10, so you can't keep going with that. And that's the whole stack, that's it. All right, so now that you guys know what the stack is and how to use the Joker as a crib sheet, I'll walk you through the actual routine. What you're gonna need to do is, you'll have your stacked pile in your hand. Next, you're gonna take the Joker, put it on top of that, then just take the rest of the deck and put it on top of the Joker. So it'll go random cards, joker, stack deck, right? Now what you're gonna do is you'll take the deck out of the box in the beginning, you'll run through, you're gonna take out the joker, put it off to the side, and then you're gonna hand this pile to someone to shuffle. Right? While they're shuffling that, you're gonna give this pack, the memorized pack, just a false shuffle. Usually I'll just strip 3 cards off, throw the pile, turn it over, strip off 3 cards and throw it back on top. And that just keeps it in the same order. Just do it once, put the cards down. Whenever they're done, they'll put the cards down as well. Now what you're gonna do is you're going to ask them to point to a pile. Either pile they point to is the one that we'll use. This is where it's gonna be a little bit wordy. It's gonna rely upon the things that you're saying to sort of work out. But you're essentially gonna be just magician forcing it. If they point to this pile, which is the just random deck that they just shuffled, then you're gonna say, all right, we're gonna use this pile as a timer. You're gonna take the cards, you're gonna deal them down onto the table, and by the time you hit the last card, I'm hopefully gonna have this deck or this pack memorized. This is after you've already talked about the code cracking and all that sort of stuff, so they understand that you're just gonna be using the single just numerical value rather than the actual whole card, number, and suit. So, deck, if they pick this pile, then again you say we'll use it as a timer. If they pick this pile, when you say we'll just point to one, we'll say, all right, this is the one that we're gonna use, we're gonna memorize this pile. You then hand them this deck and explain the same thing and just say, that this pile we'll use as a timer, you're gonna deal the cards down. By the time you reach the last card, hopefully I'll have this entire pack memorized. Now spread the cards out, just like that. They go into the counting procedure, just dealing it as fast as they can. The whole time you're just staring at these cards, pretending to memorize them. Usually before they hit the last card, I square the deck up, turn it over and put it down. Right? So we'll just assume they finished dealing, cards are over here. Now you're gonna go into the process of revealing the cards. All you have to do is make sure that the joker is in a position that you can see. So if you just put it onto the table and turn away, just so that they know that the cards aren't marked or anything, you'll look away and you'll just read off the joker, just read off the crib sheet. You'll say Jack, Jack will come up, 10, King, 3, 9, and then you'll say this one was sort of a memorable card as King of Spades, I think. And then King of Spades will be turned over, go into the little R, 808, so on and so forth until you reach the last 4. And that's it, pretty much. You're done. Sit back, get your round of applause, and that's it. So you all know who Darren Brown is, right? And recently he predicted the lottery, UK lottery, right? He did this by apparently having a group of people sit in a room, they stared at a bunch of numbers on a board, then they named the first numbers that popped in their head, they added them all together, and the number that came out turned out to be the actual lottery number. And that sort of event just sort of pushed me to create this effect. Try this. In here I have a lottery ticket, and on the back of it I have just an arrow. We're going to use this just to pick randomly, right? So it'll just be random choices. And I also have a stack of cards, which just have random numbers from 1 to 9, right? Just needs a quick mix. Let's try this. Take the first 3 cards out. I'm going to spin this. Whoever it points to will get the first 3 cards, right? So quick. If it lands on me, we'll just go to my left. All right, so that's closest to you, so you would get the first 3 cards.
Do I look at them?
Yeah, you can look at them out. Next 3 cards will go down. Whoever it goes to, you guys look at. Alright, so that'll be closest to you this time, and you get the last 3. Okay. Alright, so all of you guys look at your cards. Yeah, you guys know what the numbers are? Alright. So you were the first one that we used, right? So we'll start with you. What I want you to do is take out any card that you want. Just look at them all, and the first one that pops in your head, just put it face up, so we can all see it. Good? Alright, so 8. You're gonna go with the next one, so just whatever one you want, put it down.
Right here?
Yep, 5, and 4, good. Once again, you're gonna, whichever one you want, put it down here. You, anyone you want. And last one, there. Good. And the last cards, you put yours down, you put yours down. and you put yours down. Good? All right, so right now we've just made three completely random 3-digit numbers. We have 854, 132, and 679, right? If for some reason, if this had been spawned and it had landed on you first, then cards would have been in different order. This could have been, 458 rather than 854. So it would have been off by 400. Everything would have been a little bit, different. You have a cell phone on you, right? Yeah. You take it out. So now in the Darren Brown thing, he had the numbers that everybody picked. He added them all together. So what I want you to do is just add 854 plus 132 plus 679. Good. And what was the answer?
1,665.
1,665, right? Good. All right. Now, 1665, does that number mean anything to any of you guys? No? Nothing, right? Now, usually about every week I play the lottery, and every single week I play the same numbers. And if you take a look at the numbers that I played this week, 1665.
Cool.
You ever hit the jackpot?
No, I've come close once though. So for lottery, you're gonna need two things. You're gonna need to get yourself a lottery ticket, and you're gonna need to get the numbers 1665. This is a local lottery from Rhode Island, which has the 4 numbers. If you don't have that, then there's an alternate presentation that I'll be teaching a little bit, which won't require this. But for those of you that do, you're gonna wanna grab it, get 1665, and then you're gonna wanna draw an arrow on the back of it. The other thing that you're gonna need is a pack of cards with numbers on it from 1 to 9. Right? So 9 cards, each one has a number on it. Right? So now for these cards, they're gonna be set up into a specific order. They're gonna be going, all of them are gonna add up to 15. So for the first pack, you're gonna have 8, 6, and 1. The next 3 cards will be 9, 4, and 2. And the last pile will be 7, 3, and 5. All right. So the way that this works is just on the fact that they are all at equal to 15 when you add them together. All right. So in actual performance, what you're gonna do is these cards will be in your wallet. You'll take them out after you've taken this and placed it face down onto the table. These cards will be shuffled if you want to. Usually I'll just strip 3 cards off and then throw the pile on top. This will keep that 15, 15, 15 order going throughout the deck. So after a couple and you're good, you're gonna run through 3 cards and you're just gonna hand them to anybody. You can just say, who wants the first 3 cards? And then those would go down. Next 3 cards, go down. Last 3, go down. All right? And now you're gonna just collect these individually using this arrow. Right? This arrow was sort of my way of incorporating sort of stage drama into close-up magic. With stage, people like throw out paper balls and stuff to pick random people. With this, you spin it, whoever it stops on is gonna be used, and it just gives sort of a random, just a randomness to the choosing. So the first person will be over here, these 3 cards. So let's have Sean take these. Now, Sean's looking at the cards. I would have him take just the first one that pops into his head and put it down onto the table. So go ahead, anyone that you want.
All right, face down?
Face up. All right. So the 9 is the first one. That goes right there, all the way on the left side. All right. So if it was facing you, it would go on the left. And now, there you go. Now you're gonna go to the next person. You'll spin these again, and it'll be these 2. And just whoever it's closest to, you'll use. For that one, it's nobody, but I would assume, closest person will use this person. They would run through the cards. And they would take out whichever one they want. This group is, again, the 7, 3, 5. So let's say they took out the 5, put that down, and then the last person goes. So the last person has 8, 6, 1. We'll assume they take out the 6 and put that down. From here on out, you don't need to spin this anymore. Now that's the order that they will always be going in. So I would turn back to Sean and say, all right, you have 2 cards left, look at them, take anyone that you want and put it down below that. All right, so he puts the 4 down. Turn to the next person. They should have 7 and 3 left. Anyone that they want, that one goes down. Last one, 1 and 8, have them place one down. And then the last cards just get placed in order at the bottom. So 2, 7, and 1. All right. All right, so now that the cards have been randomly distributed and laid out into this order, you're gonna go into the adding portion of it. Usually for this, I'll have people take out their cell phones and add them up, mostly because I don't want people to realize the 15, 15, 15 thing, which is if people are adding them out hand, they'll take 4, 9, 2 and say 15 plus, and then, they could piece it together that way. So if you're using a cell phone and, every cell phone has a calculator on it, everybody has a cell phone. So you have them take it out, and we're going to be adding as if we just made 3 random 3-digit numbers. So now we would have 456, 938, and 271. At this point, I'll usually make a reference saying, if this had landed on, in a different position, these numbers could have been over there, and this number would have been, 654 rather than 456, making it, 200 higher, and everything different. It just sort of pushes the randomness of everything and just makes it very fair seeming. So the phone, you would take your phone out, you would add them together, say 1665. I would ask, does that number mean anything to anybody? Most of the time, people will say no. And then I'll say, for me, that's actually a lucky number of mine. It's a number that I play every single week in the lottery. Then point to this on the table, say, check it out. They turn it over, look at it, they see the number is 1665, and that's it. Trick's done, the reactions are crazy, and
Right.
everything is good.
They don't know this is a lottery.
Right. For the most of the time,